Hello there, Giancarlo here. Welcome to Beyond the Talent, a segment where IED alumni such as myself gets to know a little bit more about the incredible talent of IED alumni worldwide. Today might just be the punkiest interview yet. That's because Flora Rabitti agreed to have a little talk with me. Flora is the owner of the brand Florania, an incredibly promising designer with a number of awards that
Thank
I
you.
really can't count on my fingers. Yeah, and there is a lot to talk about. But first things first. How are you, Flora? What's new?
I'm good. I'm surrounded by black clothes that I need
Yeah.
to sell ASAP. So
Okay.
I'm just a little messy, but generally great. Thank you.
A fashion designer, a senior ready to wear consultant, a
Yeah.
creative director for your own brand. If you had to explain to a nonna mantovana what it is that you do, how would you explain it?
So I design the clothes for my own brand, searching textiles, new innovative materials in sustainability, 100% of the research that I do. And I also illustrate the kind of the theme of the each collections before even designing the clothes. So I create every season, so twice a year, new words in which these illustrations, this character belongs. And then consequently, I design the clothes, which are made in Italy. And I search locally for materials and suppliers, and I try to sell them worldwide. So I do also illustrations and consultancies for other brands, like I did Max& Co. and Udinese Calcio. I did a project also with Caring Group, Swatch. So I'm trying to implement also those consultancies.
Okay, okay. That is definitely an explanation that a nonna mantovana would understand. Yeah.
Ah,
Thank you for making it so simple. You had such a long list of titles that sometimes I
thank
think,
you.
I don't know how many times a day you have to kind of go back and explain them all again to people. You do.
Depends on the situation, I take something
Yeah.
that I will use.
So, some of the pillars that act as the foundation of the brand
Mhm.
Florania are the fact that it is a genderless,
Yeah.
geolocal, and circular brand. But you also like to define it as solar punk, which is a
Yeah.
very neat term. What does solar punk mean contextualized to your brand?
So solar punk is the philosophy in which the brand is based. And, we are punk because it's a deconstruction of the norms and the gender and the rules in general. The constructions also of the kind of a garments, but solar because we are optimists towards the future and the humans, so and what's surrounding us. So, generally speaking, it's a philosophy that was born in literature and also architecture, because these artists, these creators imagine worlds where people live without wars, of course, but in a kind of construct way with technology and the nature, not disruptive. So, it's
Yeah.
important to me as well.
It's like the renewable and the ethic and circular version of steampunk, would you
Yeah,
say?
yeah,
It
totally.
is. I know this. I know the steampunk, solar punk, and cyberpunk. Well, I mean, those are three different things. And of course, cyberpunk is not the most
Mm.
like the most ecologic one.
No.
No, it's not at all. But you are the first brand I've ever. I mean, maybe I'm not in the game that much, but you are the first brand I've ever seen mentioning the solar punk term. So I do like to use it though.
Yeah, of course. I like it because I think it's reflective of my own identity and also what word I would like to create with
Yeah.
my things, and the people that I think are my clients are kind of divided by ethics and culture instead of body or age or gender. It's a different kind of a niche.
Okay. You've had a lot of experiences before founding Florani in 2020. You've been a fashion assistant, a fashion designer, a teacher.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
And I know you've got a little bit a good inspiration after a trip in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you around what time you felt the need to really commit to the creation of your brand.
So it was during the pandemic, honestly, because I was looking for a way to take bigger projects internationally, a bigger consultancy internationally. So I tried to experiment with the upcycling and the moulage, which is the draping.
Okay.
It's a very, I mean, it's a very materic technique
Okay.
instead of what I've learned in also other brands. So I thought that in this way I could gain also the nations where the fashion is more couture, like France. But
Okay.
during the pandemic, there wasn't space for anybody.
Mm.
So basically, I got the answers back when I already founded the brand. But at that point, I wouldn't have gone back, being a junior somewhere else, no? Because always when you move landscape in a way,
Yeah.
you know, kind of downgrade for a little bit. And so I found that it was expensive, but more interesting to have my own brand and a bigger portfolio in the future,
Yeah, of
no?
course.
Long term.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is a very nice trip. So I want to know because you do
Yeah.
a lot. Okay. You really actually work a lot. Okay. So it is kind of crazy. I would love to see the room how messy it is right now
No,
to
mamma mia.
show how we put it as a thumbnail and
And
just so we.
after Japan, I'm like, I cannot concentrate if I'm surrounded by things. No, I
Mm.
need to have my clean space, and now I cannot really talk, so I wouldn't.
Okay, 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 okay. No, I actually feel you. I mean, I am not gonna show you my room. It's not that messy, but it can be more, it can be more, more organized. I want to know which of your works holds a
Mhm.
special place in your soul. It can be an
I
event. It can be a specific
Mhm.
dress, a specific piece of clothing. It can be
I
anything.
think the Max& and Co. Capsule that I designed and that I'm wearing, which is this one,
Okay.
was it's based on knitwear and also some denim. And I felt that like a creative director, but a proper creative director in bigger terms, because they really let me do what I wanted, and
Mm-hmm.
even more. And they are really a nice brand. They have a clear vision, and the person that is following Maxenko is Elia Maramotti, which
Okay.
was a
Shout
great
out
mentor to me.
to Elia. Shout out to Elia.
Shout out to he teach me a lot, taught me a lot, and also I really felt super important because every time I said one idea, little idea, 10 people were moving somewhere, and so it was really great, and it was spread worldwide because it had worldwide sales, so it's great to me.
It was actually pretty recent, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think now are the sales in the shops. There are the sales,
Ah,
and I see a lot of people is buying now the things that I know.
okay.
But it was this winter mostly. They launched it in October.
Okay. So yeah, it was pretty recent.
Yeah,
So let's talk a bit about your time at the ED because
yeah,
it's called Beyond Italians because it's related to ED. But I wanted to
yeah.
ask you, what's a habit that you've developed during your time at the ED that you
Mhm.
still use in your daily work routine?
This is a nice question. So I think music.
Okay.
Every time that I have to focus on a word, on a concept, I try to relate it to music. So each season, for example, even for my brand, I create a playlist which is kind of very specific. So I try to navigate two genres to make it in my brain, to make it real already when there's not nothing. So
Okay.
this helps me concentrate on the mood that I want to bring forward, and also to I don't know, to create a sort of a ritual that it's helps you a lot when you have hard work to do. No?
Mm,
So that is a good habit that I took also in Yad, because I, like everybody, I was filled with things to do, no,
yeah.
and all different that later on becomes even worse.
Yeah.
But in that way, I could focus on the subjects that I was most passionate about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that gave
You
me a
know
good.
I'm gonna ask you what
Yeah.
music were you listening?
Well, I mean, in this season, it was mostly kind of course, post-punk,
Yeah, of
but
course.
even new romantic. You can find all the playlists on on Spotify. But even last year,
Where can I find them?
yeah, I will send it to you. Is my
Okay.
name, which is Flora Rabitti,
Yeah.
and then I have all the playlist. But since I think spring summer and 20, no, full winter and 23, so it's made in 22, and I launched the brand at this September 21. So there's all.
Yeah, there's
Even-
everything there.
Yeah, Flora Rabitti, and you find all the
All the playlists.
yeah
Okay.
playlist.
That
So.
might be a good source of inspiration to people that wanna create their own thing and they wanna get inspired by you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but the music I think is a really good drive because it gets you in a flowing stage, mentally that you don't need much more, no? Maybe
Yeah.
a little coffee. But yeah,
Earphones or speakers?
sorry?
You prefer earphones or speakers?
Depends. Depends on where I am, but I would like to have good speakers, but I live in Milano, so
Yeah. You can't
even
do a
with
lot of.
the
You
computer.
can be noisy.
No, I cannot.
I cannot.
I cannot.
So, yeah, always looking back at your student years, how has
Yeah.
your education influenced your current approach to your job? What specific skills and knowledge you gained from your time at YED that have proven useful in your career? It can be something small, it can be something big.
No, I think YAD really teaches you to, in a way, to have a cultural approach to even the structure of the collections and the project. Because even later on, I've taught to some schools that don't have the same habit. So that's it. It's a thing that I learned at YAD, but I brought on also in other jobs, and it was always useful to me. Having to me is like making clothes for a concept, for a reason, no, making design for a reason, not just products. Because even nowadays we don't need much products.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
are always surrounded by things, but with a concept, with a reason for you to build things. Actually, I think it's a very good drive.
Okay.
A lot of culture. So even more than techniques sometimes, but I've always learned the technique, a specific technique, for example, afterwards in by work. So that
Yeah,
was a
because
good.
you can't know what's coming afterwards. I
No,
mean,
but yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that just really find out after you finish. You learn like
Mm.
20 things in YED and then you find out like, okay, these 20 things might be
Yeah,
there, but usually they're not. Not in the start
yeah.
at least. So I'm sure some time ago you've wondered what I would say to a student of mine if I were a teacher. I'm sure of that. Come on. I mean, I wondered that.
You see.
Everyone. What would I
Ah,
say to a student of mine if I were a teacher? And the cool thing is that you have worked as a teacher.
yeah.
You can answer this question. What do you think is the most iconic thing about Prof. Rabitti?
I don't give up in critics. I mean, because I want people to reach a certain level, no?
Yeah.
And so I really had some arguments with other teachers. But
Okay.
even if you are starting, I tell you what is missing, no? Because it's better for you to know, no? And then how to reach my level, of course, in 5, 10 years. But I want you to know because I'm not competitive in a way. Some other
Mm.
teachers also there are even to students, no. But I feel that we are all building made in Italy, and I will get even more with my brand in a sense if there's a lot of people that really put effort in putting the economics, some economics back to our country in a way,
Yeah.
no. And also I feel like I'm a student sometimes still, so. I like people to be pushed. Some people receive it, no, take it. Some
Yeah.
people feel
They don't.
stressed. But I mean, you wouldn't. It's difficult to find people that will actually do positive critics to you
Mm.
in the future, because even working you will be, even if you work for bigger brands, you
Yeah.
will be put somewhere and nobody has the interest to make you grow.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find people that actually tell you how to grow. And that I would always bring with me.
I do believe it's hard to find people that really tell you how to grow, like in a very technical way, if you want to, if
Yeah.
you can say so. But would you agree with me by saying that it's getting even harder to find people that actually can know how to receive what they're being told. Because
Yeah.
once they find someone that you've taught for around 4 years, 3 years,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
around
Always
that
on and
time,
off, different jobs.
did you feel it was getting harder every day, every year to have people that actually get the message?
Yeah, see, some, yes, especially in another school that wasn't yet, I'm not saying more, but
I
yeah.
know it. I know which one is it,
I
but
know. No, but I mean, I think it's crazy how people even get off schools thinking that the world will listen because you still have to listen you a lot before giving
yeah,
actually something that is interesting. I think the genius. I mean, of course, everybody in a way has it. Everybody more, somebody more than other. But the world is too now focused on emergencies than to actually build talent. So even when you go out from school, you need to grow still a lot. So
yeah,
you need to be super humble because if you are humble, people will actually want to teach you, no? Because people
mm,
even senior people after a while that you break their walls in a way, but want to communicate what they are
yeah.
doing. But if you are not humble, I think it's a loss. It's a loss. And also with the people that I'm employed, some were thinking really that, but because I have like this way of communicating to people that I take for granted that they have an education,
Mm-hmm.
even kind of a character behavioral education.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't have this much money now to give to people, but still you are, for example, in the front line doing your garments, and that they are directly on a show, on a performance, etc. So you have a really a good portfolio after you work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get it, but some,
They don't.
since I'm still young and I try to communicate in a clear way with people, some think that, I don't know, they can have more possibilities by themselves than with me, which is completely fine. But I think that nowadays it's better that you work for somebody that you don't work at all.
You gotta gather some experience before going full
Yeah,
solo. Yeah,
yeah.
you know, some.
So,
Yeah, it usually happens that I've met a lot of people that have been like, these people, these young people you're talking to me about. And they at one point they started saying, okay, I am saying no to everything. I am saying no to everything, but at the same time, I feel the need to say yes to something.
yeah,
Maybe that thing I was doing, like that thing, was not that bad because I've met
yeah,
worse people.
I see.
And I'm meeting worse people because I'm not that proactive. I'm not that. I don't want
Yeah,
to be around. So you decrease in character the more you wait to grow a bit with
yeah.
people. So
Yeah. Also, I think everybody should have at a certain point a kind of work for big brands in a
mm,
way, because in this way you learn how you have to be
yeah,
no, and how you have to respect all the people, even doing, I don't know, cleaning, for
yeah,
example, because otherwise you will not be respected
yeah.
yourself.
It builds character. It builds character.
Yeah, no, and it's also your will to work, even if you are in stage, for example. Even me, I passed to being a senior at a certain point, super well paid, to a kind of a middle seniority in a brand that I was more forward, no, with my
Mm,
designs. But in any of these cases, I've always kept a super humble approach, and in this way I could really reach the people like partners action. If you go there with your 23 years old and treat the people working in this industry from 20 years bad, you lost, no?
who needs to be dressed Florania right now? What I
Who
mean
needs
is, you've dressed a lot of people, but who's missing? Who's missing?
I'm trying to reach more like a art world, music
Yeah.
world internationally
Okay.
because I know I could have good possibilities with niche and middle and I think senior artists. But I think that mostly my clothes will be sold in north of Europe and US, a little bit Japan.
I think North of Europe will be very, very good.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, I will try.
you know it already. So, ending the interview,
Yeah,
what piece of advice would you give to an actual yet student that
okay.
wishes to pursue a vision like yours and a career like yours? I
Building
mean,
like
you've said a lot of advices all around the interview, but let's connect them all together and
yeah,
give me the final.
okay. So yeah, I think at first trying to work for another brand because you will see how it works and you
Yeah.
wouldn't have to learn it all alone because it would be difficult, more difficult. But anyway, if you don't have the possibility, try to experiment with what you have and looking around a lot, looking what's in shops that you actually like all around Europe or somewhere, and try to build a unique product that yourself have thought. In this way, you can have a market, no? If you don't want to work for others. And also try to go around Italy to see the best suppliers, stress them a little with respect and with your kind attitude. And I think you will know a lot in these little steps.
Okay, that's very great. Thank you, Prof. Rabitti. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ciao.